Okay, welcome to part 2. Here we're going to have a quick overview of Netbeans. Let's have a look. So on the left hand side you will see there is this area and this basically lists out your project and all the files within your project. This is a tree which you can fold up and down. Quite often you might have several projects on the go. This area also has you will probably have an area down the bottom when you first open up called the navigator. This allows you to see inside your class. It gives you a kind of skeleton overview of your class, so which allows you to sort of see all the major items about that class. This is very useful if you have a very large class. Notice if I hold my mouse over it, I will get the Java doc comments. On the subject of Java doc comments, let's just do this. If you actually type in /** and then press return, Netbeans will automatically look at the parameters for everything in for the class below and type them up here. So we can now just put this is the name of the student. This is the student ID. This is the constructor. And if we hold our mouse over here, hopefully, yeah, there we go. Now we get, this is the constructor, so we actually get all the instant comments. So hopefully if you remember back to your first year programming, we insisted that you use JavaDoc to actually do the correct documentation of your code, and we're going to make the same insistence here. But now, of course, everything's really simple. You just have to go /*, and the JavaDoc comments will be automatically generated for you. Okay, this is a method which does nothing. Now, if I leave that for a second, you notice it will actually it will underline bad spelling. And again, if we move our mouse over the navigator, we see the JavaDoc comments. Let's go back to the main navigator view and the main class view. Okay, what else do we need to know? The other thing we need to know is if we need to change preferences about this particular application. So here, if we right click or control click on the class, on the project itself, we can do a number of things. We can use clean build. Now, sometimes if you get a program that's not compiling and it's just becoming very weird, it's because the background compilation process has kind of gone wrong somehow. And if you do a clean build, that kind of gets rid of all the previous junk and it tends to reset it. We've obviously got run, debug, profile, and test. We'll be talking about profile a bit later. Because it's one of the core reasons we're using Netbeans as part of this course. The other thing we get is properties. Now this one's very important. If we go to properties, this talks about a number of things, including running. Now, one of the things we will be using on this course is asserts, and these allow you to make sure that your program is running properly. So we go ESA, and in fact, if you don't know about it, we can just click ESA and EA and that one. Yeah, let's just go crazy with the asserts. Now, let me do a quick intro to what an assert is. An assert allows you to check code to actually make sure that it actually is sensible. Now, for example, supposing I did not want my name ever to be null, it would be quite easy for me to write this code up here. I go null here. That's not a good name for a person, okay? If I run this at the moment, it's failed. Unrecognized option, yes. Let's go and change that. Properties. No. Runtime ES. We did get those from there, didn't we? EA and ESA. Yes. Okay, that's good. Let's run that. That's good. Now that allowed me to create a class with a null name. Now I might be using this later. For example, in my do nothing class, I might be saying this.mydefault equals Bob. Okay, this allows me to check if Bob is equal. If I run this now, I'll get an exception in the main thread. Okay, if I click on the error here, it will jump to the code, and this tells me that this is the bit that crashed. At this point, I have to figure this out. Now, the problem is that this.myFullName is null, and when I call equals on null, it goes, oh my god, I'm broken. So I want to make sure that my class never has null on it. My name equals null. Do something. But this makes your code very big for these very rare occurrences. So in a very early version of Java, they invented the concept of assert. So I can now say assert my name is not equal to null. And what we're saying is check to see if the program is equal to null. Now if I run the program, I still get an error, but it comes up here. And what I can do is go colon the class demo should never have null as argument. Dummy. Let's run that. And now I get the message. The class demo should never have null as an argument, dummy. Okay. Now, this establishes a contract. I don't want to go into this in a great detail. This is all part of software engineering, but just to know, this is how you actually create an assert and how it actually gets initiated. So all that happens is now the person using my class, which is me, realizes this, and it says, I will give it a proper name, like Robert. There we go. Okay, and now if we use this, everything works fine. Okay, so we've seen the major areas, we've seen the various facilities, and we've even had a quick look at the process of assert. I'm going to bring you attention to this bottom area, which has more zones in it, which we don't have to worry about, which is terrific. Okay, in the next section, I'm going to show you all the incredibly fun things you can do, which saves a huge amount of typing and headaches inside Netbeans. Bye.